Taking care of your loose natural hair can be a struggle sometimes, but I'm going to share with you 10 things I've learned since I cut off my locks and became a loose natural that is making this entire journey stress-free. Okay, let's chat while I refresh my twists. I installed medium twists. Check out my last video if you haven't already. I washed my twists with a moisturizing shampoo. I didn't go in with a clarifying shampoo because I washed my hair so thoroughly. Last time I washed it 4 times, so I didn't feel the need to go in with a clarifying shampoo. But when I take down these twists next weekend, I will be using a clarifying shampoo and blowing out my hair and dusting my ends. If you're interested in type 4 natural hair content, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. And let's get into the 10 things I've learned since becoming a loose natural. Just a quick overview on my hair. I have low porosity hair, high density, especially in my crown, and fine strands. The first thing I learned, in no particular order, my hair and my scalp hate higher tension styles. Absolutely detests higher tension styles. If there is too much tension on my edges, on my scalp, I am miserable, and my hair just feels like it's gonna fall out. Probably because I have fine strands. So if you also have fine strands, definitely keep that in mind. I got cornrows installed for a recent trip and they weren't even tight. I'm telling you, they were not tight. But after a week, my scalp was begging for me to take them out. Now that I've used the peppermint hair growth oil on my scalp, I'm gonna go in and start from the back. The back section is the shortest and it's also the loosest texture on my head. So these have come out quite a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo those. I'm gonna use a tiny bit of the Daily Moisturizer Buttercream by TGIN. And I'm also going to use this mousse because I might be taking these out to do a twist out later on in the week, maybe after I've had these in for like 3 or 4 days. So right now I'm gonna stick with flat twist just because I know that my scalp is not suffering when I do those. Number 2, my hair, and I have a list, so if I'm looking over here, it's that I can remember everything. My scalp doesn't do well with products sitting directly on my scalp. For example, when getting my cornrows in, we use the Shine and Jam Edge Magic to like make the braids sleeker, and I think getting it directly onto my scalp definitely irritated it. I always thought that I didn't have a sensitive scalp, but I actually do. And if you have dandruff, you might also have a sensitive scalp and not realize that the dandruff is caused by sensitivities to products that you're using or products that you're letting sit on your scalp for too long. Going forward, I'm not going to be putting product directly onto my scalp. I'm just going to leave it like on the hair itself, close to the root, but not on the scalp. So I have this back row out. Part of me wants to make these neater, but at the same time, I'm not going to leave them in for long, so I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to use the tiniest bit of buttercream and a little bit of mousse. I hope these mix well. It's so short at the back, I don't even need to use my tangle teaser. I'm just going to do a twist. I think as I redo these, I'm just going to not braid the roots this time because I want to do a twist out. But if I was planning on keeping these in for like 4 weeks or so, I would redo it smaller and braid the roots, but I am going to be showing you that in another video coming soon because summer is almost here, and yeah, it's just going to be easier to have my hair in a protective style all the time for like the whole summer. I definitely want to look into getting a scalp lotion. I have one in my cart right now, the Mazzani scalp lotion. So if you have any experience with that, definitely let me know because I would really like to try it out and see how it works with a blowout, because I noticed that because I don't want to use an oil on my scalp, since the oils that I have don't have heat protecting abilities, I don't like using oil on my scalp, or at least not a lot of it. My scalp loves oil. So I'm gonna use the scalp lotion next time to see if that helps with keeping my scalp moisturized for blow drying. Number 3, extensions start to get heavy really quickly for me, so I have to be very mindful of that. I definitely don't think I can experiment with long braided extension styles. I really don't think it's for me. I don't think it's a good idea for my scalp, just because I know how my scalp reacts. Even from having a tiny bit of hair with the cornrows, I could feel the weight of the extensions, and I didn't like that feeling. It felt like I was pulling out my hair. So if you have fine strands, be conscious and aware of the amount of weight that's pulling on your roots. I do want to try like spring twists or extensions that are just short, like shoulder length maybe, or bra strap length, but down to my butt, no, I don't think I can do that. But again, I do have to experiment and see what works for me. This is just what I've observed so far, and there are just some things I know won't work for my hair. I'm just going to cause damage and breakage. The hair like right at the nape of my neck is such a loose texture. It's hard to hold the twists, and it's short too, so it's harder. But number 4, if I'm clarifying twice, don't use apple cider vinegar. Because I had locks for so long, I learned and perfected my lock routine, and I realized what worked for my locks. Apple cider vinegar worked for my locks. It works for my loose hair as well, but I have to be more conscious of my individual strands. When I used apple cider vinegar and clarifying shampoo twice, my hair was just way too dry. Going forward, I'm definitely not going to do that. Even with one clarifying shampoo wash, I don't think it would work. I really think I should just use an ACV and follow up with moisturizing shampoo, and that's it. And it might be different if you have coarse hair, which means a thicker diameter strand. It might be different for you. It might work for you, but I would still just be aware of over drying your hair. And if you have locks and you became a loose natural, you understand that you have to kind of unlearn certain things, because things that work for locks will not exactly work for loose natural hair in the same way. I've definitely taken some things and brought it over to this journey that I've learned with locks, but not everything can be just transferred over. I'm going to share one more thing I've learned. I'm going to work on my hair, and then I'll come back when I'm closer to the front and share some more with you. The 5th thing I've learned is definitely prioritize getting my trims done a minimum every 3 months. My last trim, dusting was February, and it's now May. So I'm due for a trim, and I'm actually going to be doing one next week. I'm kind of on track. March, April, May. Yeah, I am. I'm definitely on track, but I can feel my ends, just at the very ends, like it's just a little rough. So keep up with your trims to just maintain the health of your hair. And even if that's just observing your ends, feeling your ends, that counts as well, because you're just keeping up with how your hair feels each month. And I think that's important, just to be aware of where your hair is. All right, I'm gonna do some more of this off camera, and I will be back to share the remaining 5 tips and things I've learned from my hair journey. Okay, so we are back. I finished the back section. Hopefully I didn't miss any. Getting a little bit of movement when I shake my head now. You can see the difference between like this, how it's more dull and frizzy, versus the back. I think I get even more shine with my Aunt Jackie's Don't Shrink gel, but I just really wanted to try out this product. This is the Crazy Sexy Curl Supercharged Honey All-in-One Setting Foam. I wanted to try this just as a standalone, just to see how it works with Twist Out. So I'm gonna do the front and finish up my list of 10 things I've learned. Okay, number 6 is something that I overlooked, but I remembered that this was important during my lock journey as well. And that is to make sure my nails are neat and filed and not like chipped if I have nail polish, because it will snag my hair. And this is a tiny tip, but when you're detangling your hair or you're taking out protective styles, having your nails neat, filed, making sure that nothing is snagging actually makes a huge difference with the takedown process. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to pull out your hair, especially if you have fine, delicate strands like me, just because your gel is chipped or something. So
Mom, your TV's not working.
okay, I'm coming. Okay, number 7. My 7th tip / thing that I've learned is to split up wash day and styling into 2 different days. I always do my hair on the weekends. It's usually a Friday, Saturday type thing, and I strongly advise it. If you're trying to wash your hair, if you're blow drying, if you're styling, it's just too much to do in one day, and you're more likely to feel overwhelmed by your hair overall if you're trying to just do everything in one day. Set aside time. I feel like the weekend is the best time. No work, no school or whatever. So yeah, definitely split up your wash days and I think it will make the whole process a lot better, maybe even enjoyable. I hear so many things about how type 4 hair, specifically 4C hair, is just so difficult to deal with, and I just don't see it that way. Obviously my hair is short right now, so it's definitely easier when it's shorter, I would say, but I still have to wash my hair weekly, pretty much, and style my hair. So I think it's all about your mindset, not just your mindset, also just managing your time so that you're not overwhelmed. Number 8 is to style your hair on stretched hair to avoid breakage. You don't need to use heat to stretch your hair. I like to do it the really easy and simple way, just throwing in some big plaits into my hair. That makes every single style easier. Flat twists, mini twists, which is like the extent of my styling right now. But I feel like it makes it easier for cornrows, braids as well. I feel like stretching your hair is a great way to just make your styling day a lot easier and seamless. The 9th thing I've learned is always sleep with a bonnet or scarf. At the very, very least, on a satin or silk pillowcase. I know that people say this all the time, but it really makes a difference. I even tested it out just to see how much of a difference it makes. I slept with no scarf or bonnet, just on my satin pillowcase. And then I compared how my hair looked with that versus a scarf and a bonnet. And with the scarf and a bonnet, my hair was way less frizzy and it maintained the shine from the products that I applied. When I was just sleeping on the pillowcase, there was frizz. It looked like my hair was a few days older than it actually was, and I didn't like that. Our hair really benefits from keeping it covered at night, especially if you don't sleep like a robot or like, you know what I mean? Like if you move around a lot, like I do. I feel like I move around a lot. You're definitely gonna need more than just your silk pillowcase to rely on. Okay, I'm gonna share my last tip/thing I've learned so far in this journey, and then I'm gonna finish my hair off camera and I'll come back when it's all done. So number 10 is sometimes washing your hair twice is just not enough. I've been watching a lot of hairstylists videos and people who specialize in natural hair care, and sometimes they're lathering up like 3-4 times. And when I took down my last protective style, I washed my hair 4 times, twice with clarifying, twice with moisturizing, or with a strengthening shampoo. And my hair and scalp felt so good for the entire week. And that's why I didn't go in with a clarifying shampoo this time, because my scalp just didn't need it. And I was kind of surprised by that, because I didn't think that my scalp could get cleaner, but it turns out the more you wash it, the cleaner and cleaner and cleaner it gets. So especially if you're coming out of a protective style, wow, it's so dark in here, cloudy. Especially if you're coming out of a protective style that's been in your hair for a long time, or if you're just coming out of a protective style that may not have been in your hair for that long, but you used a lot of product, wash your hair more than 2 times. I'm telling you, follow what the professionals do sometimes, because they're really onto something. Also, the amount of product that I'm using has gone up. Like I never thought I would be the person who would be using so much shampoo. And it's not like I'm overusing it. It's just like I'm using enough. You know what I mean? I feel like if you grew up with one Caribbean parent or two Caribbean parents and one frugal parent or two frugal parents, it's like you kind of think that you shouldn't use a lot, whether that's lotion or face lotion. For the longest time, I was not using enough face moisturizer on my skin, like on my face. And I realized like I can use more. And then all of a sudden my skin was glowing more. So it's like I'm trying to switch my mindset. If you understand where I'm coming from, then you understand. But like, have you seen those hairstyling videos where there's just so much sudsy soap and just it looks so clean and like they're fully cleansing their client's hair? That's kind of what I go for in the shower. Tons of suds, really focusing on cleaning my scalp, especially with clarifying shampoos. And then moisturizing shampoo is more so I'm focusing on the lengths, the strands of my hair. Those are the things that I've learned so far, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my hair and we'll close out the video in just a second. I'm fully done refreshing all of these twists, and that took me, minus interruptions and doing different things, I don't know, maybe 3 hours? I feel like that's kind of a long time, but I was essentially redoing all of my hair because I wanted to test out that product and do a twist out. I'm gonna take these out in maybe 2 to 3 days, and stay tuned for my next video for the takedown of this. I'll do another video or like on my Instagram or TikTok. Follow me if you're not following me. The takeaway of all of things I've learned and the tips that I gave you guys in this video: observe your hair, take notes, pay attention to how your hair and scalp react to products, to extensions, and to different styles. And just observing your hair and understanding your hair is going to go a really, really long way. I think that that's something that's completely underrated. Most people are struggling with hair growth. If you didn't know, my goal right now is to grow my hair to bra strap length. So I want my hair to grow long and even longer than that. I feel like that's something that's really, really underrated and not even thought about. Is like, people are asking me, how do you do this? How do you grow your hair? I have these issues, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, are you taking the time to learn your own hair? That is the superpower, is learning your hair so that you know what works best for your hair. I think it's great to take tips from people, and I've learned a lot from so many different creators online, but I've also learned a lot just from observing my hair and paying attention to, like I said, how my hair reacts to different things. So if you're also planning on growing your hair long, like if you have goals for long hair, whether you have locks or loose hair, put the muscle emoji down below, and that will also tell me that you made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.